I just thought he was like myself, irreplaceable. Just, we have to be, we have to be there. It just isn't Beacon Hill without Allan.
Just like family, always has been, even from the beginning, talking to him on the phone. It's just a natural relationship that we acquired immediately. It was like family.
Just a great guy, a nice human being.
He's great. That's all I can say about him.
Well, he always had stories to tell about you and his family and places you had been and things you had done. And he always had the name of someone to refer us to and always took real care in our prescriptions and in our medical care.
We wouldn't have let today go by without coming and saying goodbye and wishing him well.
That's right. That's right.
He
We
meant
had to
that-
do that.
he meant
And
that
he
much.
recognized us right away.
And my father was in love with your father. He used to just, because my dad was a big, big, big guy, and he used to just come over and just like, you know, give your dad like a bear hug. It was so cute.
I think Allan took his wife to one of my doctors, and he sort of disagreed with the prescription that the doctor had given his wife. So he challenged her. And then when he came in the next day and he checked it, he said, "You know what, Elvia, I met your doctor." And he told me what had happened, and he said, "That lady knows her business, doesn't she?" I said, "Yes, she does." He said, "For a change, I was wrong and she was right."
He knows me personally, and I have a daughter that recently had a baby, and she was very ill before that. And he's been there just like he's a part of my family. He's been there as a support system, and we almost lost her the year before she had her baby, and now she has a baby, and everything is good. And he's just been there for me like a family. So
I remember, you know, the first days, you know, because you know, I'm foreign, you know, I don't speak, you know, English very well, you know, especially at that time. So, you know, first days I made some mistakes, you know, but they always help me, you know, you know, they never been, you know, mad at me because, you know, I made mistakes.
I think that when he opened Kent Drug, he was, and he always has been, very personable, very caring, and connected with the people who came into his drugstore. And I don't think that's changed, even though drug coverage is different and there's big pharmacies. I think that at Beacon Hill, he has that same quality of being very personal with his customers. People come in, they say hi, they're going to miss him. And I think that's true because if you go to a big drugstore, you're just the prescription number. But if you come to Allan Levin, it's more personal.
I walked in there my first time, and he was looking very, very angry behind the counter. So I asked him, I told him I had a complaint, and he said, "What's your complaint?" And I said, "There's no shopping carts in this establishment, and I can't possibly do my shopping without a shopping cart." And he was just dumbfounded, and then he started to laugh. And I said, "It's not funny." I said, "I'm serious." I said, "There's no shopping carts here." So then my husband, who has since passed on, went out and took a long picture, a couple of them, of a grocery store that had the shopping carts lined out in front, and taped them to his door one day when he came in.
And after all these years, you still don't have any shopping carts.
No, we don't, but we got one for you, right here.
So, and then Allan gave me a little teeny shopping cart from my refrigerator, and then my husband went out and bought him the bigger shopping cart.
So you are the shopping cart
We're the
family.
shopping cart family. We are.
What'd you harass him about?
Anything that happened to be going along.
Just for fun. And then he would.
Sometimes prices.
Kind of remember looking, it seemed like I'd never seen anything because I thought your dad was a giant. You know, I didn't know that he was, you know, standing on a platform. And
Well, when I first met him, I mean, you know, it takes a lot to scare me. I mean, I just thought, who is this gruff guy? You know, blah, 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 I don't have this now, come back at 2 o'clock. And then one right after the other, you know, we just got in. And then when he found out I was in here with Dr. Guido, he'd give me a hard time on the phone when I'd be calling in a prescription.
And I used to call, when I'd come in for my husband's prescriptions, I would say, "I'm getting the old Coots prescription." And if it was for me, I would say, it's the Cootis time. It's my time for prescriptions. So we were known as the old Coot and Cootis in his pharmacy, too.
Well, Alan, I always appreciate your taking care of my folks and getting their drugs whenever they would call and have them ready for them and let us pick them up and take them out, because unfortunately they're on a lot of medications now. But, you know, that's what you're supposed to do, and you always did a good job. And as far as I know, you always gave them the real thing.
I can't think of going to anybody else. There's only Allan's, the only pharmacist.
But Allan always was a good guy and just very knowledgeable and very nice, and we're going to miss him. We're really going to miss him because there are so few intelligent, good human beings nowadays. They are a real scarcity, and when one comes along, we should try to cultivate that person.
Same to come into the building without kind of looking in and waving at Alan whether you have a prescription or not. You know, and he'd always wave. And so we'll miss him, but he deserves a nice, long retirement, happy retirement.
He took good care of us and always answered all of our questions.
It's perfect.
He's always been there. I mean, God, my checkbook can show that he's always been there for me. But
He would say, now don't forget to say hi to Marilyn for me on the way out. And I always thought that was pretty nice.
He's a great guy. You're lucky you have a great father.
I love this woman.
I love him more. Got it in.
Well, I've waited on the customers, and I loved it because the customers kept coming back, and they were wonderful people. And I answered the phone, and I checked in orders, and I filled prescriptions, and it was very good therapy for me.
It is my reason for getting up in the morning to come here to Beacon Hill Pharmacy. But it's like a family. I am going to miss this. And I am sure I'm gonna miss this, and I'm gonna cry. And Beverly and me, I love Beverly so much. I like her better than Allan. Allan always loses everything. I can't begin to tell you all the checks that Allan has lost, that we have torn through garbage, fit all over the floor looking for the check. And if it wasn't for me, half the time he wouldn't find what he has lost.
He asked me maybe 1 or 2 questions and he hired me on the spot. Allan is just such an exceptional person. He's so compassionate.
Do you know what you're going to do next week?
Well, you know, I have applied at a couple of strip clubs.
And have you heard anything back yet?
Well, I like to dance, but I really don't know the pole routine too well, but I guess they want redheads. One time when we came back from Mayo Clinic, we were home on the weekend, and my husband needed his pain medication. So Allan, bless him, came into the pharmacy, opened up, and picked up what we needed, and met us at Strawberry Hills where he does his shopping, and where it was convenient for us, you know. And that was so special.
I fill in when Mort, the relief pharmacist, goes away or wants some time off, or if Allan wants a day off or something like that, and I'm always available. They call me Available Jones.
Anyway, in '91, I came over here to Allan. I'd heard that he needed somebody. So I've been hanging for 14 years. Now I got to go hang someplace else.
That's right.
So I'm sorry to see the place close. I'm sorry to see all the people that we've met here in those 14, or that I've met in those 14 years, to have to leave them. And I made a lot of friends here.
I've been his helper, and I love my husband, who is the boss, and I love my job, and I'm going to miss it very much. I've been here 27 years, but at least I can take the boss home with me. Allan, I love you from the bottom of my heart. You're the best husband and boss. But at home, I'm the boss.
Yeah, your dad taught me a lot.
What kinds of things
When I first started working here, I didn't know that much about medications and things. So I was always calling him and picking his brain.
I've been in the building about 5 or 6 years now. He's so much fun. I just love him. He's like a teddy bear.
So it's been about 28 years that I've known him. Yes, he was certainly always most helpful to us, not only for our patients, but also personally with our own prescriptions when I got old enough that I had to start taking medications. He was even willing to cut the pharmaceutical samples I got in two so I could take half a dose, which was, I think, going above and beyond the call of duty. We got interested in using a specific treatment for sinus problems, having people actually irrigate or flush out their nose with salt water. And we got him to get the equipment, and he was very helpful in providing that to our patients and explaining to them exactly how to use it. And as far as I know, he's the only pharmacist in the area that even has that material available for patients.
And so he's been a really good friend of ours, and he comes in our office all the time just to chit-chat. And Allan is very nice to all the people that come in there and try to get them the best deal on their drugs that he can. And for most of the old folks, that's really important because they need that special attention.
I love them because they're so personable and loving. They both are. I'm going to miss them, but we're promising to get together for lunch, so put that on camera.
He's a tease just like the rest of us. He's been very good to my in-laws and to everybody else. We're going to miss him being here, but you know what, Allan? It's about time that you retired because we're not far behind you. And it was great being in the building with you, and it was always fun to come in and kibitz with you. So we will miss you, but I know that you will be enjoying retirement, and you'll probably come in to visit us.
I'm very upset about him retiring. I always thought that I would retire before Allan. The feedback of the patients, the kind of care, the professionalism. He always took, later on, a little marketing kind of niche of being the small town pharmacist, the personalized care, better pricing, things of that nature. But it was true. They would still come back. I would go to the pharmacy to get a Diet Coke, and I'd see patients that I hadn't seen in years, but they kept coming back to see Allan because of the tremendous service that he provided. He actually went out of his way to develop relationships with patients, with people, and I'm going to miss him. I'm talking about you, Allan.
Okay.
And I don't want to start anything up at home, but a number of our staff members were unnaturally fond of Allan. These were female, young, attractive females. Allan was very instrumental in not only directing many of our lost patients to our office, but actually directing patients who didn't have foot doctors.
Shut up for a minute.
Okay.
He won't.
I sent him more people that he doesn't even know about than he sent to me. He tried, but...
I tried.
You tried.
I tried.
This is the one that you said would yell at his...
It's girls. He's going, Allan needs to get... You got to get these people down there. He needs them.